All right. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Thank you for coming today. We're going to talk about, in today's presentation, the multicultural and competence inclusion here at Catholic Health Partners. In today's session, we're going to cover the following. We're going to discuss what is diversity and inclusion, cultural competence and equity, multicultural competence and inclusion, which we call MCI, in short, here at Catholic Health Partners. And finally, we're going to discuss your role as it relates as an employee here at Catholic Health Partners. And so we're going to jump right in. This is a very interactive training session, so I ask for your participation. Typically, when we talk about diversity and inclusion, individuals always think about race, gender, and sexual orientation. Today, we're going to expand upon that because those things are part of diversity, but we're going to learn what is it so much more as it relates to healthcare. So let's get started. So when you hear the word diversity, what comes to mind?
How we're different.
How we're different, thank you. What else?
The lens in which each individual views a particular issue.
Awesome, thank you. How we different, how individuals view different things. What else?
How we work together.
How we work together, perfect. Anyone else? Awesome. Our definition of diversity is a collective of mixture characterized by similarities, differences, and focus on every characteristic that make one individual or group different from each other. How we see things, how we work together, how we view things, different faiths, religion, and what have you. It doesn't matter if you have the same race, same religion, sexual orientation, there's something different and unique about you. And here at Catholic Health Partners, we want to leverage everything who you are. We want to create an atmosphere of inclusion where we can leverage you, your talents, your skills, your faith belief, so you can come to work, feel a part of our mission and vision, so we can create that environment for our patients and families. So in thinking about that, who are you? Tell me something about yourself. Jenny, tell me something about yourself.
I'm a mom.
A mom.
I am an artist.
An artist.
I'm a gardener. I'm a wife. I'm a Christian.
Awesome. Thank you. A wife, an artist, a Christian. Larry, tell me something about yourself.
I'm a golfer.
Golfer. Awesome.
I'm a dad.
Dad.
I am a husband.
Husband. Awesome. One more volunteer. Elsa, tell me something about yourself.
So I'm single, I'm a mother and grandmother, and I'm Hispanic.
Awesome. So in the room, we have individuals who are parents. Did you see that connection already? We have an artist. We have individuals who have spouses, someone who identified themselves as being single. I would like to introduce you what we call the diversity wheel. And in the diversity wheel, there are 4 dimensions: personality, internal dimension, external, and organizational dimension. Typically, when you hear the word personality, you think of what? Shy, outgoing, extroverted, what have you. Sociologists say by the time you reach the age of 10, that your personality is set in. How many parents in the room? How many with more than one child? Each one of them have a different type of personality? Yeah, you had to deal with them differently? So I want you to think about you as an individual as I talk and explain the diversity wheel. And I'm going to share my story as it relates to this wheel. And how did you get where you are today? And what does it mean for our organization here at Catholic Health Partners? So I am not shy by nature, period. Okay, surprise, right? As a child, I really loved playing school. Do you remember putting glue on your hands? Yeah, peeling it off, wasn't that fun? Or I loved crayons. My mother said I used to stand in front of people and say, "Stop talking." It wasn't that I wanted to say anything, I just wanted you to look at me, right? Then I would play with children nobody else would play with. I was an advocate. By the time I hit the 6th grade, I had a reputation. I was sitting by the desk because I'll be the child that set it off in there, okay? Because I had to stand up for somebody's rights. So as I transitioned to adulthood, I was a social worker for a while. I was a guardian ad litem, which is an advocate for children in foster care. It makes sense, right? Fell in love with teaching and training, so I did that part. And now I'm on the D&I side, the diversity side, which marries all of that together. I get to train, I get to advocate, I get to partner with leaders to make sure that everyone is accepted. So if you look at diversity wheel, the internal dimensions, notice age, gender, sexual orientation, physical ability, ethnicity, and race. Typically, what those things have in common is what? They don't change. It's a part of who you are. And then as you go through life, you have your experiences, your external dimensions, your personal habits, your recreational habits. Larry shared with us, he's a golfer. Jenny shared that she's an artist. Your educational background, work experience, your parental status, your marital status. Elsa shared with us that she was single. And how does that play out to the organization and the role that you play? Whether you are a nurse, whether you work in registration or human resources or what have you have an opportunity to bring your whole self into our organization. On your table, there are pens and a sheet of paper face down. If you would, please take one of the handouts and a pen. This is what we call diversity bingo, and I'm going to give you your instructions. But the first thing I want you to do, just like bingo, I want you to mark your free space. So you can pick any spot on this card and put an X through, and that is your free space. So if you could, please go ahead and put an X on any box on the card. Here are your instructions. On the diversity bingo card, this is what we call some diversity dimensions. You can see a person who supervises others, a female, a single parent as an example. Each card is different. When I say go, I would like for you to stand up and push in your chairs and go around and interact with your fellow colleagues around the room and ask them the dimensions that are on your sheet. For example, you may walk up to Jenny and say, Jenny, you are a female. If you could please put your initial in the box. Because of the number of individuals in the room, only one person is allowed to sign one card just twice. What I don't want you to do is to sit your card down with the individual and say, okay, fill out everything that applies to you. Okay? Jenny's only allowed to fill out 2 boxes per the card. Move around the room. Here are additional instructions. You cannot fill out your own card, okay? And you cannot just focus on 1 or 2 individuals. I want you to move around the room, engage your fellow colleagues, and learn more about them and ask the questions on the card. Here are your instructions again. You got your card, you put your X. You're going to stand up when I say go. You're going to interact with your fellow colleagues, and you're going to ask them the dimensions on the bingo card. That individual is going to sign off on the card, no more than 2 boxes. The first person that achieves bingo gets a prize. I got a prize for you, okay? Any questions? If you would, please stand up and push in your chairs and begin. I'm sorry, there's a question.
Fill out all the boxes?
Not all the boxes, just until you achieve bingo. Thank you, Larry. That's a good question.
Great.
Are you left-handed?
I'm getting the easy ones.
Yeah. All right, Jenny, could you please read off the boxes that got you bingo?
So you are wearing an earring and you are a single parent. Justin does not supervise anyone. Jamal speaks 2 languages and is of Black descent.
Awesome, let's give Jenny a hand. Yeah. Here's your prize.
Oh, thank you.
All right, who got close to bingo? Jamal, can you share your card with us?
Sure, do I have to stand up?
If you want, it's up to you.
So, Larry James is over 6 feet tall. Sonia Wallace is a single parent. I didn't have a person who was gay or lesbian, but I also had Elsa, who speaks 2 or more languages, and Larry James, who is Black with African ancestry.
Also, Let's give them a hand for participating. One more person who would like to share their bingo card.
No Starbucks gift card?
No. Christine, share your card.
I had Sonia with a person with red hair.
It's not real
My
red.
free spot was taken up then. A person who does not supervise anyone is Justin, and who was born between 61 and 80 is also Justin.
Awesome, thank you. Notice in the room, there is so much diversity already present, right? It was so much more beyond the race, the sexual orientation, the religion. We got to learn something about each other, right? And we've been able to start connection. Diversity is the essence of relationship building. It's asking those questions. We want to be able to build a relationship with each other as we work towards building a relationship with our patients so they can be engaged in their healthcare experience. So think about, let's throw it out there. We're going to take it one step further. If I say that, what does a person look like who rides a motorcycle? What would you say?
A man.
A man. Okay, what else about them?
They wear leather.
They wear leather. What else? They have tattoos, right? Where did you get that information from? TV, right? TV, your experience, all of those things, correct? Here's what we call the iceberg theory. And so what it is, there's a concept in diversity which we call 7-11. First 7 seconds you meet someone, you make 11 assumptions about them, and what you don't know, you make stuff up. I automatically asked you, what does the individual who looks like, or describe an individual who rides a motorcycle? You said they wear leather. You said they have tattoos. You automatically went into this whole description, if you will, of that individual. When we think about how we interact with individuals, we interact with them from the lenses that we developed about them. We make assessments about these individuals, and it has an impact on how we interact with them, how we talk to them, whether or not we're going to build a relationship with them, or what have you. So if you look at this above the line, you have age, work location, race, gender, geographical location. Typically, these are things you can tell about someone about looking at them, correct? But what we don't know about an individual is their marital status, parental status, how do they work, their recreation activities. And that's where diversity comes into play, because you want to build a relationship with them. That's where the connection happens. There's connection in the room. Parents, artists, some individuals may have a garden, speak more than one language. From that knowledge, you want to build a relationship and see how can we develop a healthy work relationship. How do we engage our patients? So what we want to make sure that we don't want to do in healthcare, and also working with each other, is make assumptions, because our biases have an impact on patient care. It has an impact on how we interact with each other. It's making sure that we accept each other for who we are and where we are in our life. And that's where inclusion comes in. You want to leverage the diversity of individuals. You want to create an environment where all people feel challenged, appreciated, respected, and engaged, and inclusion is created. It doesn't matter what your role here at Catholic Health Partners, it is everyone's responsibility to build an inclusive environment. Have you ever worked somewhere where you didn't feel any of these things? Appreciated, challenged, or engaged? How did you feel? You didn't work there very long, right? You're kind of checked out. Okay, I'm about to show my age. How many remember the Dunkin' Donut commercial? Where the guy came sludging in, it's time to make the donuts. Yeah. It's time to make the donuts. We do not want that in healthcare. We want you engaged in our mission and vision in the healing ministry of Jesus. We want you to be able to create that inclusive environment. We want you happy to be a part of our organization. So we want to create this for everyone that walks in our door. That's why inclusion is everyone's responsibility. We're working towards building what we call cultural competence, and that's where we have policies and services that are set up to engage what we call our diverse patient population. We want to make sure we take in consideration religious beliefs. That can include how they eat, how they have their beliefs in regards to healthcare, and how do we partner with them, set up services so we can address those things. And ultimately, an equity of care. When we talk about diversity, inclusion, cultural competence, it can sometimes be a scary thing. But if you think about who you are, it's just about being in a relationship and building it, just like you simply did at the diversity bingo. We want to do that with our patients and families so we can make sure that sometimes that lens, that way we interact with each other do not get into the way. And we want to position ourselves to make sure that everyone who comes into our healthcare organization gets an equitable experience, regardless of their beliefs, of their orientation, of their race, or their ethnicity. So I wanted to offer you a little tip because we value diversity and cultural competence and equity. Did you know it's against our policy for family and children to be used as medical interpreters when we're interacting with individuals who we call LEP, which is limited English proficient patients. And to better serve our LEP patients, we offer medical interpretation services. This allows for our healthcare providers and LEP patients to communicate effectively because we want everyone engaged in their healthcare experience. So we offer language services. Throughout the hospital, you will come across blue phones at every entry point, just about, we're going to say at registrations, in the clinic office. And we want to make sure that you interact with these patients by using a phone, which we call Sericom, that offers over medical interpretation in 200 languages. We do not want you using patients and families. Please do not use what I call your vacation Spanish. Please do not use Google Translations, okay? So you know how you could pop it into Google and it comes back? Because I always say what happens when the patient or family answers back. Then what? We want them to have a safe, quality healthcare experience. Please use Sericom. So this is what we've meant to do. We talked about a lot of things this morning so far. We talked and gave and expanded the definition of diversity to include our working styles, our personality, our recreational habits. We want to leverage and create an environment where everyone feels engaged and appreciated, and also create strategies for cultural competence and equity for everyone that comes into our organization. That includes you, our employee, and also our patients and family and community. I want to talk to you in the last few moments a little bit about a multicultural competence and inclusion strategy here at Catholic Health Partners. So throughout the day, you have had an opportunity to engage with our mission and our core values. Looking at our core values, compassion, excellence, human dignity, justice, sacredness of life, and service. All of those tie into, that is what we're meant to do, and that is what MCI is partnering with the organization to make sure that these core values come to life. Take a look at human dignity. It's spelled out there. Our commitment to value diversity of all persons. Remember the diversity, their race, their ethnicities, their religious beliefs, their personality of all persons, to be respectful and inclusive of everyone. A little bit about our MCI department, and our goal is to provide culturally competent patient care and services, build and maintain strong and diverse talent acquisition and retention process, facilitate strong vendor development and relationship building programs, maintain optimal community connectivity and partnering, and again, establishing optimal leadership, ownership, and accountability. How do we do it? Well, we have 4 ways that we go about in implementing this strategy. There is the market implementation, individuals who are dedicated in partnering with our executive leadership in developing strategies that are unique to each hospital culture and implementing and addressing MCI initiatives. Health and employee equity, where we look at data to make sure that there's no disparity in care. Language services, again, offering language services to individuals who are limited English proficient. And growth and development. We want to make sure that we develop our talent, if you will, to retain our talent here at Catholic Health Partners. So why MCI? Really, why this diversity? Why cultural competence and why equity? Well, you remember when we talked about inclusion, about employees being engaged? If you engage, you're able to make sure that our patients are engaged. And if our patients engage, ultimately we want to be able to provide a quality, safe healthcare experience. So we talked about a lot of things today, and you're probably thinking, what does that mean to me as an employee here at Catholic Health Partners? So here's your role. We would like for you to treat every patient, coworker, visitor, vendor with equal respect, dignity, regardless of their culture, ethnicity, their race, social economic status, or any other diversity dimension. Beware of important customs, values, and beliefs. In regards to healthcare, remember, take in consideration eating habits, religious beliefs. Sometimes you come to the visit and there may be the whole family present. Ask questions for understanding. We don't want to assume. It's about partnership and about engagement. Use the Seracom phone when interacting with a LAP patient. And remember, it's everyone's responsibility to build an inclusive environment for all, patients, employees, and visitors. I would like to end by saying thank you for participating today, and if you have any questions, our information are in the employee handbook that is provided for you today. Thank you for joining us at CHP, and good luck on your journey here at our organization.